Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome in. You know what time it is? It is 9 o'clock. It is Thursday morning. So it is time for us to get together here and share and talk and learn and do what we do most mornings, Monday through Friday. All right, let me just roll here through to get Facebook up on my screen so I can be monitoring off the other platform. And yeah, we're in. Here we go. Okay, good morning, everybody. Nice to have you here. Hope you had a nice day yesterday. Hope you're looking forward to a great day today. I've got a short and simple class and topic for today. I'm excited to share. Let's get started with $100,000 Haircutter as we always do. You guys know the format and the traditions here. June 18, day 169, 196 days remaining in the year. We're not quite to the halfway point, but it's creeping up on us right here. June 18, leverage bird dogs. What's a bird dog? We all have them. We have clients who know everyone, are connected to everyone, and interact with everyone. These folks are easy to spot. They constantly drop names. They talk a lot. Other people drop their names too. Once identified, these aggressive mouthpieces can be leveraged for maximum promotional impact. They themselves might not be our best customers. Many times, they're actually a bit of a pain to deal with, but their marketing power outweighs their standalone value as a client. Make sure these people are happy. Make sure these people have a pocket full of business cards. Make sure these people have the proper stories to share about you and your business. Engage them with enthusiasm. They can be some of your most effective marketing initiatives. This is free. This is magical. Do not miss out on exploiting these lucrative opportunities. They are a great place to invest samples. They're a great use of free services and sample experiences. This is about making the most of your bird dog clients. Now, we all have them. That's the point. You just got to figure out who these people are. In our society, they're called connectors. They're responsible for connecting people with one another, keeping information flowing through pods of communities and connectiveness. They're powerful social lubricants to keeping information flowing in proper directions and through proper channels. So leveraging your bird dogs is all about tapping into the power of a few magical characters within your referral network. So it's a great tip for the day. Perhaps there's a conversation there about how to spot them based on their behavior. Let me make a note, because that might be a great class. How to spot bird dogs. As I get ideas, I write them down. Because there's so much stuff that rattles through this little box that a lot of times good stuff can get forgotten. So that one's worth writing down. I like it. All right, that is your $100,000 Haircutter tip of the day. Paper, digital, audio. If you don't own a book, go out there, get yourself a copy of the book, ivanzoot.com or amazon.com. Speaking of shopping, speaking of ivanzoot.com, dual texture fade brushes. We talked about them yesterday in our class. Remember this guy? This is Fade Guy from yesterday. We shared a bunch of different tools on his head and his haircut yesterday, but look at that beautiful temple taper in that corner. Look at that beautiful temple taper in the other corner. Look behind the ear right here and right here, the way that nape line tapers and fades in. Man, if you could do this on a mannequin, imagine what you can do on a real dude. But one of the keys to this kind of tight tapering work on our live clients and on our mannequin heads is these guys, our dual texture fade brushes. I got a whole bunch of them in. I got a big box, lots of colors, lots of them in stock. We used them yesterday and a bunch of you ordered. Those orders all shipped already. Went to the mailbox last night. Got all those orders out of the house right away. But you want a couple of these. 100% sanitizable, hospital grade silicone, soap and water. Into the barbicide they go. They're firm and they're soft. Firm and soft in one brush. Dual texture. And the difference between vertical use for scuffing, what I call scuffing, lifting the hair up off the head, or horizontal use, clearing clippings, wiping away, sweeping, cleaning. Beautiful for fade work. Get that hair up and out and off of the scalp so the clipper can grab it. Get those clippings gone so you can see and read your fade effectively. And when you're done, drop it in the soap and water, sanitize, barbicide to disinfect. They're good forever. Super easy. They come in a 2-pack, 2 for $11. Online, grab yourself some dual texture fade brushes because they're hot. And for this type of work, they're very, very effective. All right, that's our $100,000 hair cutter tip of the day, and that's our little commercial for a product that people are really enjoying, that I want to see you pick up and have and take advantage of and make the most of. Today's class, as many of you know, we are in the thick of June. It is the 18th today. We have 12 days left in the month, 13 days till July 1, Raise Your Haircut Prices Day in the USA. Always a big busy time for me with conversations with clients and customers and my community here online. So we're in the thick of it. We're really talking it up heavy and everything. And what I wanted to do with today's class, and it won't be a long class today because the concept is pretty straightforward and simple, but I wanted to get it out there for you guys. I wanted to get it documented. I want to have the video for when we're done that I can use for some other things as well. But what I want to talk about today is a basic economic principle. And I know as soon as you use the phrase economic principles, people, they zone out or they get freaked out. Oh man, what are we talking about? This is heavy duty stuff. It's not. This is really, really simple. It's a fact of life. It's a fact of your life that, like it or not, know it or not, you deal with every single day. Supply and demand. It impacts the flow of goods and services. It impacts the pricing of goods and services, and it's so fundamentally important to our haircut business. What I want to say here is, in looking at supply and demand, I want to start out pretty simple. I want to start out by saying, and you guys have heard me say this many, many times, if you're too busy, you're too cheap. I'll say it again. If you're too busy, you're too cheap. Now, anybody who's ever bought a book from me knows you get a bookmark with your books. Helps you read your book. And one side of the bookmark is my marketing program. The other side are just some key phrases that Ivan likes to use. And right there in the middle of this one is that phrase. If you're too busy, you're too cheap. And occasionally, I say it all the time, but occasionally I'll have somebody ask me to explain it. Somebody might not really understand what I mean when I say, if you're too busy, you're too cheap. And I came up with that phrase as a way of referencing the idea of how supply and demand affects haircutting. And I always say when I do hair shows, I go to a hair show, I do a hair show, I have my classes, and I prepare my information, and I believe that the class information that I have is great. I believe that the class information that I have is powerful. I believe that the class information that I have is important. But I also believe that we are smarter than me. We, all of us as a group, are smarter than I ever could be individually. I believe that's really true. Everyone knows something that you don't know. Everyone knows something I don't know. I only know what I know. And I can only learn more if I get it from someone else. So I share that notion at classes, and I encourage people at shows to talk to each other. When you're standing in line for the bathroom, when you're waiting for a class to start, when you're standing in line to buy food, talk to the people around you. They are all other beauty and barber professionals who are all at the show to learn and who all know something we don't. And I encourage those conversations. And I always say, sometimes the best thing you learn at a hair show, you don't learn in a classroom. Sometimes the most valuable piece of information you get at a classroom, you don't get from an educator. Sometimes you get it from the guy standing in line next to you waiting for the bathroom, or the person standing in front of you waiting to buy a hot dog from each other. It's not uncommon in having those conversations to either be a part of a conversation or overhear a conversation about somebody bragging about how busy they are. Man, I'm booked up 5 weeks out. Man, you can't get an appointment with me till August. Man, I got them stacked up so deep in the waiting room, I got a 3-hour wait. And I love to hear that kind of boasting, because I love people who are successful, and I love helping people be successful, and I want people to be successful, and I want to help people be successful. However, it also hurts my heart just a little bit when I hear somebody talk about being booked out that far in advance. Because if you're too busy, you're too cheap. If you're too busy, you're too cheap. What do I mean? What does I even mean by that? What I even means by that pretty basically is, if you're booked out that far in advance, if you're too busy, you are in violation of the principles of supply and demand. Here's how supply and demand works. You got stuff people want, and you got people who want stuff. That's called an economy. You got stuff that people want, and you got people that want stuff. And there's sort of a magical balance between how much stuff do you have that people want, and how many people want your stuff. And pricing, the game we play with the pricing, is how we control, or how we leverage, or how we make the most of the balance between the stuff we have that people want and the people that want our stuff. I want to share this in a conversation that's not haircutting, because I think it helps to understand how it works. Because we are, I won't say victims of this, but we are playing this game all day, every day, with everything we buy and do business with. Let's talk about gasoline. You're probably aware of the fact that during the coronavirus lockdown, gasoline got very, very inexpensive. Got cheap. And I'm sure you saw the jokes on the web about gas is really, really cheap, but I'm not allowed to go anywhere right now. Let's dive into this a little bit. Let's unpack it. Why did gasoline get cheap? Gasoline got cheap because we stopped driving. I don't put any miles on my car these days. I'm talking to you here. I'm not at the airport. I'm not on an airplane. I'm not driving to a class on the other side of my city, state, or town. We stopped driving. When we stopped driving, we stopped buying gasoline. The demand for gasoline began to fall. Now, there are pumps pumping oil, which are turning into gasoline, out of the ground constantly here in the United States and in countries all over the world. We are producing gasoline constantly. And we are running it through the refinery, and then we're putting it in tank cars, and we're running it through pipelines, and we're storing it in big tanks, and we're shipping it to your local corner gas station, and you're pumping it out of the ground and into your car. That's how gasoline flows. When we all stopped driving, we stopped burning gasoline, we stopped buying gasoline, so the gas stations got full, so they stopped ordering gasoline from the distributor. Well, the distributor didn't have anybody to bring gasoline to, so they stopped putting it in tank cars and in trucks, and they started sitting on it in holding areas at refineries. Got all this gasoline, nobody's buying right now, we're sitting on it. They end up with a glut. They end up with too much gasoline. And they're looking at all this gasoline and going, we got to get rid of this gas. We got to make some money. We've got to make room for the more gasoline we're pumping. And in order to encourage consumption, in order to drive use, they lower the price. Too much supply, not enough demand. Too much supply, not enough demand, the price goes down. Now, you're a hair cutter. You are Jimmy the hair cutter. And you're working at Jimmy's barber shop. And you've got nobody in your appointment book. You've got wide open spaces. You got lots of time and no haircuts to plug in. What do? Just like the guy with too much gasoline, you have too much time. When they have too much gasoline, they make the gasoline cheaper to make it go away. Hair cutters who have too much time, they make the haircuts cheaper to make the time go away. They run a coupon. They run a sale. They advertise and promote. They drop the price. You have too much supply, too much time, not enough demand, empty spaces, you lower the price. I don't agree with it, but it happens. We know that's what goes on. Flip it around. Now that we're driving again, now that states are opening up and relaxing restrictions on movement, behavior, and activity, consumption of gasoline is going up. We're starting to buy again. The demand is increasing. More people want gas. What's happening to the price? It's going back up. So what happens at the barber shop? Jimmy the barber is getting busier. Jimmy the barber's appointment book is filling. Jimmy the barber is running a wait list. Hey, I don't have any time. I can't get you in, but I'm going to put your name on a list. I'll call you if I get a cancellation. That's good business. Nothing wrong with that. Jimmy the barber's getting full. He's got people in the waiting room. They're waiting a little longer. They're grumbling a little bit. They're not so happy. What do you got to do? You've got too much demand. People want haircuts. You don't have enough supply. You don't have enough spots in the book. What should happen? Just like gasoline, the price should go up. This is the essence of the idea. If you're too busy, you're too cheap. This is the essence of the concept of adjusting and adapting your price based on your demand. If you are too busy, you get too many people wanting haircuts and not enough spaces, if you haven't raised the price to control the demand, because let's face it, when gas gets too expensive, there are people who stop driving. Well, we're not going to go on a road trip to Arizona this year. Gas is too expensive. Gas is up to $5 a gallon. I could take the bus to work. You know, gas is expensive. I don't have enough money to buy that much gas. I'm going to have to change my behavior a little bit. Jimmy the barber went up to 22. I don't want to spend more than 18 for a haircut. I might fall off Jimmy's appointment book. All of a sudden, demand has dropped because the price went up. This is how we balance this equation, supply and demand. Now, one of the realities of the haircut business is you can only increase your supply so much. The oil companies can pump much more oil out of the ground and refine much more gasoline to meet increased demand. You can add to your hours. You can open early. You can stay late. You could add another day. You could. But there's a limit to how much of that you can do. Physically, you're only human. You got to have time off to rest, relax, recover, recuperate. You got to go home at the end of the day because you're tired. There's a limit to the extent to which you can increase your supply as a hair cutter. And I think there's a limit to the extent that you want to increase your supply as a hair cutter. It's better, I think, in most cases, to control your demand through pricing than through thinking you can expand your capacity, your supply. So this is how it all plays out with regards to haircuts. Let's talk a little bit about products. You know, you can use some of these same ideas as it relates to products to stimulate sales and activity. You got a new product comes out, Clipper Guy Paste, just using it as an example. It's a great product for lots of hairstyles and lots of hair types. It's wonderful for texture. It's got a dry matte finish. All the benefits of this product, why somebody would want to put this product in their hair. Good stuff. And the product sells for 16 bucks. You buy it for 8, you sell it for 16. That's standard 100% markup, 50% margin. You know how that all works. We've talked about that a lot. But you really want to get some of it out there. You want to make some money with it. Well, one thing you could do is you could order a lot of it. Instead of ordering 6 or 7 of them to put out on your shelves, you could order 48 of them. Big quantity. For an individual hair cutter in a shop, 48 pucks of matte paste might be a lot of paste. Might be a good sized order. Maybe you do that. And maybe you put a big display of it up. Nice big pile of it. Looks nice, fancy, in a high traffic, high visibility area of the shop. You make it look nice. You put a sign on it and everything. You've got a lot of supply. And then, like every other retailer or store out there, you put up a sign that says, sale. Regular price, 16. On sale, 16, let's go, 13. $3 off. $13. Nice little sale. All of a sudden, instead of selling 2 a day, you sell 6 a day. You had excess supply, which you wanted to clear and sell, and by reducing the price, you created greater demand. You brought the demand up to help cover some of your supply. And now at $13, $3 off, instead of selling 2 a day, you sold 6 3 days in a row. Boom, 18 of them gone. Nice. Money. Now, you took a little less profit on it, but you moved a bunch of merch. You got the dollars out there. Supply and demand. Now, another way to play this, and we do this from time to time, new items being introduced. We brought out AfterBuzz. When we brought out AfterBuzz, initially, we didn't have a lot of it. We were getting the labels right. We were getting the packaging in. We were getting the sauce squared away. And initially, they only sent me, I think, 18 bottles. Well, when I only had 18 bottles, and this product you buy for 9 and sell for 18, when I only had 18 bottles, I put them out there, and I started talking them up, and I explained to people, new item, exciting item, great item, AfterBuzz, get excited. I don't have too many of them. It's new. We're just getting it out. I've only got 18. Boom. People snapped them up at full price. Because supply was low, I kept the price high, and it created interest and demand. Ooh, I got to get me one. Ooh, I got to get me one. There's not enough of them out there. Let me have 2. And all of a sudden, 18 of them, poof, were gone. This is all supply and demand, guys. No, and we have to start to think about supply and demand as it relates to our products. And especially we need to think about supply and demand as it relates to our services, because we don't frequently think of it that way. But our time is our supply, and our customer base is our demand. So I would challenge you to look at your volume, look at your capacity. How many haircuts can you do? 2 an hour, 8 hours a day, 16 haircuts a day. How many are you doing? Have you maxed your supply? Are you able to meet your demand? If you do 2 an hour, 8 hours a day for 16 haircuts per day, that's your capacity, and you're turning out 20 a day, you're too busy. Time to raise the price. Basic principles of supply and demand. We got any questions on this? Anybody want to dip into this a little bit? No demand for it, too much supply. This is what we're playing with here. We are tinkering with supply and demand. You got it. Brandon, good morning. Lisa, nice to have you here. Matt, everybody's checking in. Good to see everybody here this morning. All right, that's my little conversation today about supply and demand. It's not a lengthy one. It doesn't take up the full hour that we sometimes allocate for these classes, but I think it's an important topic, and it's very relevant as this time of the year in June. I'm always talking about Raise Your Haircut Prices Day in the USA. Now, a piece of the Raise Your Haircut Prices Day conversation, because this is a time-based price increase, I want to make sure everybody understands this. This is not a demand-based price increase. The idea, the hashtag, when we go back, we go up, that I created for our industry as we recognize people were getting back to work, was really more specifically targeted to recognizing that demand that would be there, that we'd need to be satisfying. When we go back, we go up. As well as recognizing that a big piece of Raise Your Haircut Prices Day in the USA is designed to help people who have fallen out of step with haircut pricing. You know, I've said this quite a bit. At this point in time, haircuts in the United States of America, barbershop haircuts, men's haircuts in the United States of America today are in some cases cheaper than they've ever been in any time in the history of America. Meaning we haven't kept up with the economy. Everything goes up. Rent goes up, lights go up, cars go up, college goes up, shoes go up, clothes go up, food goes up, and haircuts just haven't gone up enough to keep up. And so a large portion of the time-based, the July 1-based haircut price increase is designed to close the gap for a good many haircutters who've fallen behind the economic arc. If you've been good about time-based price increases, or you've been good about demand-based price increases, July 1 isn't necessarily your target date, because you may have gone up 6 weeks ago, before we got back, or when your demand dictated it. So supply and demand is what that's, what that's all about. I'm a little got to catch up on hydration here. Okay, guys. Thank you for tuning in today. Thank you for being here. Thank you for joining me. We will be back tomorrow with more conversation on all kinds of good things related to the business. I'm digging into a little bit of my blog archives here to cover some additional topics beyond some of the things that we've standard scheduled for discussion here in our meetings, and looking forward to sharing more with you. So go out there, tear it up today. Have a great day. Take good care of customers. If you're back to haircutting, if you're not back to haircutting, continue fine-tuning your plan for when it is time to go back. And along the way, if I can help you in any way to build and grow your business, please reach out. Visit my Patreon page. I'm going to put the name up. I'm going to put the details up in the comments here on the video. But we're gathering together every week on Wednesdays for our team meeting, our group meeting. I'm sharing topic of the week information. I'm sharing lots of great quality content on my Patreon page, and I want to invite you to join me there. Please subscribe and join the Patreon page for connection with me directly and the best of the content that I have available to support you in your hair cutting and business growing adventure. Thanks for being here today. Have a wonderful day. We'll talk to you soon. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.